Good morning, and thank you for joining us for our weekly press conference. It's really good to have such a great crowd here today. Today we have some exciting news that's going to have a major impact on the health and well-being of the city of Erie. Also today, we're going to learn more about an important historic resources survey that is kicking off to provide the city of Erie an equitable baseline understanding of its historic and cultural resources. The city of Erie has a rich, long history, as most of you probably know. It also has a number of very old homes. Many of these homes were painted years ago using lead-based paint, which can pose a health hazard, especially to young children. But today, we are happy to announce that a grant application to the Department of Housing and Urban Development through our Office of Lead Hazard Control and Healthy Homes has been fully funded for an incredible amount of $4,712,858. With us today to tell us more about this is Aaron Snippert, the Executive Director of the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Erie. We also have Holly Cook, Director of Program Administration, and our Redevelopment Authority Board Chair, Chuck Scalise, to explain what this means for the health of residents and families here in Erie. So we'll kick it off with Aaron, and that floor is now yours.
Thank you, Mayor. This grant award represents the 6th direct award received by the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Erie, and the 8th that RACE has administered since 2003. This is also our most significant lead hazard control funding award to date, with a total of $4,712,858. This funding will allow us to remediate 145 additional units within the City of Erie and Erie County, significantly enhancing the safety and well-being of residents. The success of these initiatives is a testament to the power of collaboration. It is only through a multitude of partnerships that we can effectively address these critical issues. The enthusiastic support we have received from across the county, from bipartisan legislators on the local, state, and federal level, medical professionals, community groups, nonprofits, and more, is a testament to the strength of those partnerships and our collective commitment to the health of our residents. Upon completing this grant, we will have administered nearly $18 million in lead hazard control funding in our community, demonstrating our ongoing commitment to fighting lead exposure and protecting our children. However, the need for these efforts remains urgent. The impact of lead exposure on children aged 5 and under is a serious concern that continues to affect our community. And this program will allow us to assist homeowners and landlords across the City of Erie and Erie County. I would now like to introduce Holly Cook, Director of Program Administration from the Redevelopment Authority, to talk more about why this is so significant. Holly?
Thank you, Aaron. So an award of this size for a dedicated issue demonstrates the severity of the problem, and yet only about 21% of Erie's children are screened for lead. From 2021 to 2022, the number of children aged 5 and under in Erie County decreased by about 1,000, and so there were about 223 less children tested. And yet the elevated blood lead rate was at or above the actionable level, literally more than doubled in that year, from 145 kids to 291. At that rate, if all kids aged 5 and under were tested, we would see roughly 1,455 lead-poisoned kids just in Erie County each year. What we know is that even based off of those low testing rates, that Erie County children are poisoned at a rate that is 1.5 times that of what the children of Flint, Michigan were during the peak of their water crisis, and that made global headlines. While calling attention to that issue was huge, and certainly was integral to getting them new water service lines, filters, and a clean water source, it did largely neglect to address the biggest cause of lead poisoning across the country, which is lead-based paint hazards. Peeling, flaking, and chipping lead paint creates dust that is nearly invisible to the naked eye, and a speck of that dust, literally as small as a grain of sand according to the CDC, is enough to poison a child. The effects of repeated or cumulative exposure to that dust can be catastrophic to developing bodies. The World Health Organization advises that young children can absorb 4 to 5 times more lead from ingested lead dust than adults. Since the majority of lead-related complications are neurological, it can be difficult to observe those effects until it is too late. Learning and cognitive disorders and delays, speech and hearing issues, behavioral disorders, and so much more are frequently irreversible once the damage caused by lead poisoning has been done. The good news is that lead poisoning is entirely preventable by safely remediating lead-based paint hazards using certified lead-safe contractors like the ones who perform work through the Lead Hazard Reduction Program that's funded by this grant. As we approach the CDC's annual National Lead Poisoning Prevention Week, which kicks off this year, this Sunday on October 20th, we encourage all families with children aged 5 and under to ensure they're tested for lead exposure. It's crucial for parents to take proactive steps by having their homes tested for lead hazards. And $1 of lead poisoning prevention returns between $17 and $221 in health benefits, like higher lifetime earnings, tax revenue, reduced spending on special education, and less wages lost caring for lead-poisoned children. If you're planning renovations in any pre-1978 housing, we strongly advise hiring a lead-certified firm to carry out this work. This ensures that any potential lead hazards are managed safely and effectively, protecting the health of our children and our families, because there's no level of lead that has been determined to be safe. Finally, I am privileged to introduce the President of the Redevelopment Authority Board of Directors, Mr. Chuck Scalise.
Thank you, Holly. There's nothing more important than the health of our citizens of our community, especially the most vulnerable and the youngest of our residents. On behalf of the entire Board of Directors of the Authority, I'm so pleased to work with the staff, many of who are in our audience today, to address the issues and needs of our neighborhoods. Witnessing a team effort that leads to such an impactful results is truly inspiring. The dedication and hard work of the staff who have put into creating a safer neighborhood environments for the residents is generally commendable. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to the Redevelopment Authority staff, my fellow board members, the city administration, and everybody dedicated to ensuring the families in Erie are living in safe and healthy homes. Thank you so much for your time and privileged to be here today. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Chuck, Hawley, and Aaron. There is nothing more important than the health of everyone who lives in the city of Erie. I would like to thank the City of Erie Redevelopment Authority, the board, city administration, and everyone who is helping us to ensure families in Erie are living in safe and healthy homes. We are fortunate to live in a city with a rich, deep, and colorful history. Today, we are joined by Heather Olson, City Historic Preservation Planner, who will talk about the citywide Historic Resources Survey and how residents in the city of Erie can take part in identifying and documenting important historic and cultural resources here in our community. Heather, the floor is now yours.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. My name is Heather Olson. Today we kick off the citywide Historic Resources Survey. This project arrives at a crucial time for Erie. With exorbitant building costs and a warming planet, this is the perfect opportunity for the city of Erie to complete a citywide historic resources survey. Historic preservation is both sustainable and sensitive at its core. This historic resources survey project will help reveal to us which structures and places have stood the test of time and deserve consideration and protection into the future. In 2021, Erie was awarded the status of certified local government. As part of those obligations, we as a municipality must demonstrate our efforts towards the documentation of Erie's historic resources. Phase 1 welcomes public participation in 2 different ways. 1, by visiting and participating in the online story map, and 2, by visiting City Hall and our partner, Hagen History Center, for Map Our History Days on pre-scheduled days. Those dates will be announced in advance and listed on the city website. Through the online story map, residents of all ages can share historic photos, places, and stories. The goal is for us to learn from one another and to enrich our dialogue. The story map also helps the city better understand the places we value as a whole. During the pre-scheduled Map Our History Days, city staff will be present to discuss the project and guide users through the online story map. Staff will have iPads and technology to assist the public. Phase 2 shall be completed by a professional historic resources team from EDR. Their team will complete a field-based survey documenting thousands of city parcels. Their team is comprised of architectural historians, cultural resources professionals, and surveyors. You may see them in brightly colored vests or hard hats with technology in hand. They will survey respectfully and remain on public sidewalks and streets. The EDR team is responsible for field verifying our existing public data on structures, sites, objects, and districts that are 50 years of age or older. No personal information shall be collected. EDR will be providing a final survey report. Currently, the project has funding to survey 8 city planning areas. These include Bayfront, Downtown, Pulaski Lighthouse, West Bayfront, the 12th Street Corridor, East Bayfront, Trinity Park, and Little Italy. As future grants are acquired, the remaining city areas shall be surveyed. The survey and information will help position the city for forthcoming grant opportunities, including those specifically for disadvantaged populations, overlooked communities, sacred spaces, and more. The city may use this information to help shape planning decisions and policy for future collaborative efforts. Mapped resource points and public historic resources information will be shared with the Pennsylvania State Historic Preservation Office in order to comply with our certified local government requirements. In closing, the Citywide Historic Resources Survey project is made possible through 2 grants received from the Keystone Historic Preservation Grant Program from the Pennsylvania Historic and Museum Commission, 1 grant from the Certified Local Government Program, and through matching funds from the City of Erie's General Fund. Project information can be found on the City of Erie Planning Department page under Historic Preservation. Thank you. We look forward to your participation.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Heather. I appreciate the work that the Planning Department is doing and encourage everyone to take time to visit the City of Erie website and look at the project plan. This is a great opportunity for us all to contribute to preserving the history of the City of Erie. And finally, I would like to remind everyone that this coming Monday, October 21st, is the last day to register to vote. The general election is on Tuesday, November 5th, when the polls will open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. I hope everyone in the City of Erie lets their voice be heard by voting in this critically important election. That concludes this week's press conference. Please follow us on social media for the latest updates on everything happening here in the City of Erie. Thank you very much for being here or watching on TV today. Thank you.